Hello, my name is Jack Dulles. I'm the Director of Training at Tulsa Welding School, and today I'm going to talk to you about stainless steel welding and kind of go over the do's and don'ts of stainless steel welding. So let's talk about the machine, okay? Let's look at the machine first. We have it set up. When you're running on stainless steel TIG process, you're going to run it on DC negative, okay? So we got it set up on negative. Then also we're going to run around about 115 amps. But also, you're going to be using the foot pedal here. You can use a foot pedal or a thumb dial. There's lots of remote ways, but we're going to use a foot pedal. And like I talked about in my previous aluminum video, same concept here. Think of your foot pedal as your gas pedal, okay? You press the gas down, you start to drive faster. So think about this as more of your steering wheel. You're driving along. So if you're going to run at 100 amps, then you got to drive at 100 amps. If you're going to run at 60 amps, then you got to drive at 60 amps. So you got to match up your travel speed with your amperage, all right? So we've got our stainless steel set up here. We've got our tungsten set up in our TIG rig. Now when I'm running with the stainless, I like to run a little bit longer stick out with my tungsten when I'm doing stainless like this, because it's very precise. It's very small. We're going to be running with a 16th filler wire, so it's going to be a very small bead. It's very precision right down in there. So I like to keep a little bit longer stick out, and I like to keep a very sharp tungsten on here. Okay, I do like to try to get it right down to like a needle point. Because like I say, it's so precise and it's very small. So it's going to be hard for you to see. You're going to have to get in here nice and tight and look and see what we're doing. But basically what we want to do is we're going to, once we get everything set up, I'm going to apply heat with the foot pedal, press down the foot pedal. I'm going to stabilize my arc. It's going to start to get a little glassy, little liquidy puddle. When you see the glassy, liquidy puddle, that lets you know that the metal's hot enough. It'll accept your wire, and then basically we're going to add the filler wire in. All I'm going to do is travel down the plate like so. I'm going to brace my hand off onto the table so I can put nice, smooth, consistent drips as I'm going down. And just nice and smooth, taking your time. And we should get a nice little stack of dimes there. So let's make some welds. You ready? Sometimes you have technical difficulties with your tungsten. It does happen. All right, so let's run a couple beads and I'll show you some do's and don'ts, if you will. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to fire up. As I slowly apply down on the foot pedal, my arc becomes more stable. I'm going to do a little circle here as I apply the heat just where I can see that glassy, liquidy puddle. Okay, I've established it. Now we're good to go. I'm going to apply the heat a little more. Keep that tungsten nice and tight. Just put little drips in there, nice and smooth. Got a little shake going. All right. Got us a nice little bead there. Okay. I know they ain't quite as straight as I want them, but that's okay. It's not about going as straight here. I just wanted you to see it. I'm going to run another one right next to it, side by side, so you can see it on here. And as we're doing these, we also want to watch for the color a little bit. Okay, the rainbow colors are good. Anytime you start to get into the dark grays and you start to seeing it, basically they call it sugaring, where basically it looks like sugar threw it on a weld. It's all brown and crystallizations. That's not good. Okay, you've ruined that piece of stainless. So if you overheat stainless and you burn it like that, that's not a good thing. So if you're getting the browns and it's really bad, and I'll show you one here in a second, you want to really try to avoid that, okay? So here we go. Establish your puddle, put your foot down, get a little more heat going, circle that bead a little bit, make sure you get that glassy liquidy puddle. Once you got it, you're good to go. You want to keep a real nice tight arc length when you're running this stainless steel like this. Like I say, it's very small. Okay, and let the shielding gas blow on it for a little bit, let it cool down. Also, if you stick your tungsten in here, stop, change it, okay? You don't want to have stainless all on your tungsten there. It's not going to make it weld right. So take the few seconds that it takes to take it out, change it, grind it, flip it around, put a nice clean tungsten on there if you're sticking your tungsten. All right, so we ran a couple good beads here, and now I'm going to show you the kind of the don'ts, if you will. I'm going to show you whether too cold, I'm going to show you too hot. Also, if you see that your wire as you're welding is starting to ball up and run away from you, and what I mean by that is when you're trying to put the drips into the puddle, the wire will actually get a ball on and start to back away from the actual tungsten. What it's telling you is you're long arcing. And what that means is now your tungsten is not pointed at the base metal. Now it is pointed too much at your filler wire, or it's too far away from your filler wire. And now the heat is hitting the filler wire, causing it to ball up before you can put it into the weld pool. Okay, so let's show you some of the don'ts. We're going to start off with too cold, then we'll go through too hot. This is too cold. So here I've not established a glassy liquidy puddle. I've just got it too cold. I really don't even have my metal hot enough right now. I'm going to try to put a bead in. Here it goes. You can see how it's crowned up. It's not wanting to spread out. It's just wanting to just ball up and pile up on the plate. This is all too cold. This is not good. Alright, I'm going to roll right into too hot. Okay, now we'll see it get too hot in a long arc here a little bit. Alright, I'm going to put the heat down to it. You can see I'm getting really far away with my tungsten. I've got way too much heat now and I'm long arcing. You can see how wide my bead is and how flat. And now this is real sporadic wire. You want to be controlling your wire. See, this is not good. You don't want to have to drip it in like this. This is not good. Now look at the redness of the plate. I mean, look at the plate. It's just all burned up. You can tell how hot it is. And once it cools down, I'll actually flip it up to where you can see the weld in there. You can see how it was way too cold, crowned up, not wanting to melt to the base metal. And then as that we went too hot and started long arcing, it's all burned now, flat, gray. You know, like I say, it's no good there. And I'll flip it over just to show you what it done to the backside. You can see it's starting to burn through right over here, starting to actually melt through the metal and burning it on the backside, and that's not what you want. Okay, let's go back through it. Nice smooth travel speed. You got nice color going, nice consistent drips, melting into the base metal. Down here, too cold, not enough heat. And then over here, too much heat, obviously, and it's just flat and burned up. So those are kind of the do's and don'ts. It's really about you going out there and practicing, taking this little tutorial and going and applying it, okay? Make sure your base metal is always clean. You got a nice sharp tungsten. And then really just about putting in the time and practice. It's very simple. It's not very hard at all. Make sure you got a nice smooth puddle, and then just work on consistent drips and a nice smooth travel speed, and you too can also run it just like I can. Thanks for watching this little tutorial on stainless steel, and looking forward to hearing back from you. If you got questions or concerns, please reach out to Tulsa Welding School. Thank you very much. Hey everyone, I hope you learned something new today from our video. And if you want to stay up to date and you want to become a better welder, then subscribe to our channel. And if you want to watch the newest videos and the baddest videos of me welding it all up, then check this video out right here.